Wow, those were awesome presentations. Congratulations to those finalists. I also don't envy those who are going to be doing the judges. Program directors, thank you very much. My CEO started off with thorough welcoming of all the guests, including the minister. So pardon me, and only allow me to say protocol is observed. It is my immense pleasure to welcome our Minister of Science and Technology. By the way, when I was coming up, she kind of said, just call me up. You know, stop with this elaborate introduction. But Minister, we have to do justice and acknowledge you properly. So pardon me, I'll say a few words. As a sector, we're very fortunate to have a minister who is so committed to the sector and is so involved in the cause of science and technology. She's probably one of the ministers who have positioned science and technology well beyond what we call the national system of innovation. I think this sector, we all have to admit, has always been insular. These days, through the work of the minister, ordinary South Africans know about projects like SKA, know about projects like the hydrogen economy, know about a lot of big projects in science and technology, and can see the value those projects add to the economy and to our social well-being. And I must say the minister does that job very, very well. Our minister is also arguably one of the most experienced ministers. Just a short sample of positions she's held in government. In addition to many years as an activist here in various countries in Southern Africa and overseas, she's come back to South Africa and been involved in our government and in the politics of the country in a very, very extensive way. I don't know if many of you recall that the minister was a chairperson of the NCOP between 2009 and 2004. I think 2004, I think. Yes. She was also the Minister of Science of Education. At that time, it was before the Department of Higher Education and Training was in place, and the Department of Basic Education was in place. She looked after all of those portfolios. She had a gigantic job. She came in 2009 and joined the Department of Science and Technology. We were very thrilled to have her. As I said, she really showed her capabilities and her skills and put the sector on the map. Unfortunately for us, the president deployed her to Home Affairs. I'm told by others that she didn't quite enjoy that, but that's just a rumor. Because she came back in 2014, and we were thrilled that she came back, and I'm sure she was also thrilled to be back. And here she is with us today. Minister, we're honored that we are in experienced hands as a sector. We're also honored that you took time to be here and address us. We're looking forward to taking on your wise words. Welcome, Minister, and thank you.
Thank you very much to the chairperson of the TIA board, Ms. Kunge Ganjobe. It's always so embarrassing, these CV things, because no one else's background has been revealed here. You know, I want to know about Weza. Where does he come from? What has he been doing? And why is he not using his engineering skills for engineering? You know, I mean, yeah, TV is nice, but really, Weza. You know, wenzani Weza? Ufunani kwi-television ne-radio. Ufunani no-Aki. Siyakudinga e-science ne-technology. So good evening, and it's a great pleasure to be here. The worst thing about being the last speaker, is that everybody has said everything that you wanted to say. So I've had an interesting time at my table, peering at my notes and saying, hey, what do I cut out here? So let me begin by saying I'm indeed honored to have been invited to speak this evening at the Global Clean Tech Innovation Awards evening, a lovely evening. Everybody looks fantastic. I must say, I come straight from work, so sorry about my creased skirt. But the women look wonderful. And for the first time this year, the majority of presenters have been women. Hooray! We're getting somewhere. So I wish to thank Mr. Paulo Manilal, the Chief Executive Officer of the Technology Innovation Agency, as well as the UNIDO for the support that they've given to this project and in a set of interventions, and the other partners from government, as well as the private sector, who are part of this initiative. You have been given an overview of what the initiative seeks to do, so I will not repeat that. But I would say that what I think this program does is it creates a platform for linking South African entrepreneurs with investors, with business and commercial partners, potentially resulting, we hope, in the commercialization of new products and services, and ultimately resulting in job creation. So one of the things I hope we will begin to do is to pay far greater attention to what happens to all these innovators once they've been on this stage. Because I wouldn't like to have a situation where those who are creating all these new wonderful services and products lose hope and feel that we give them this wonderful dinner, but nothing happens after that. So I think we must, as the partners in this program, pay some greater attention to follow up of each of the various innovating participants to identify whether they got the support that they needed and whether they have now established a viable enterprise, because that is our intention. We want to exploit the creative abilities of innovators in our country so that they establish viable businesses, so that they produce globally marketable products that put South Africa's innovations on the world stage. That is our intention. And so our job goes beyond the dinner. We must make that global appearance, global commercialization happen. So I am giving an assignment to all the partners. Don't leave it here. Follow it up, and let's find out whether or not we are creating new businesses. I've made it very clear in all the opportunities I've had to speak, that my enterprise and that of the Department of Science and Technology is to ensure that we enhance the innovating ability of South Africa. We have millions of creative minds in our country. We have people with bright ideas, people with wonderful solutions to a range of challenges and problems that confront us, and even to opportunities that have still not been addressed. I want to know, how can I lose 10 kilos in 1 month? What product will help do that? So there are wonderful opportunities for innovation, and our intention as a department is to ensure that no person with an idea that is viable finds themselves landed in some desert without support. They must know that we are here to nurture their creativity and to ensure that we support them to create new enterprises in our country and to ensure that we place ourselves in the global stage that shows that we as South Africans are capable people. And what this program has done, I think, has begun to illustrate that there's a great deal of intellectual capability lying in the energy efficiency, renewable energy, waste beneficiation, and water efficiency spaces. 3 of the program's alumni made it through to the top 30 of the Demo Africa Awards for Innovation in 2016. The programs and Clean Tech Global winner, Dave Lello of Ikasi Energy, 2014 finalist Roy Patterson of Solar Cap, and semi-finalist Holo Matlala of the Element Group were amongst the finalists and presented their innovations to potential investors at the event in Sandton on the 26th of August, 2016. So our alumni from this program are making it onto the global stage. And that's what we hope will happen. This year, we're really excited that there's been an increase in the number of registrations from 46 previously to a lovely 88 this year. That's fantastic. There are 5 categories, and we see energy efficiency dominating the semi-finalists, making up 35% of the total of participants. Water efficiency is the next highest, comprising 23% of the total semi-finalists. This is the most encouraging level of participation given the current water crisis that we're confronted with in our country. Of the finalists, 19% are women, 27% are young, and 19% are from the Black community in South Africa. I think we've not yet done enough to tackle climate change or to meet our energy efficiency challenges. But through this initiative, we have begun. To meet our energy demands in a sustainable way, our government has initiated a number of programs for solar energy, for electric vehicles, and energy storage. On solar energy, we have the 2010 Integrated Resource Plan, which sets a target of 9,400 megawatts from solar energy by the year 2030. This target has led to the establishment of the hugely successful Renewable Energy Independent Power Producers Program. And it's not me who's saying it's hugely successful. It's not government, it's international research foundations that say our program on independent power producers is one of the top 5 renewable energy programs in the world. We're doing really well in it. In support of the government's solar energy program, our department is driving a number of initiatives, such as the Renewable Energy Hub and Spokes program, along with universities in our country. We're also looking at the development of a solar energy atlas with the weather services providers in our country. And we're developing a solar energy technology roadmap along with the Department of Energy. All of these initiatives are aimed at developing a domestic solar industry. For electric vehicles, the Department of Trade and Industry is busy preparing an electric vehicles roadmap for South Africa. The roadmap is intended to create an enabling environment for electric vehicles to be operated, as well as to develop and produce electric vehicle systems. These plans are being developed and are being finalized. We already, though, have programs that are being implemented. The Technology Innovation Agency is managing the Uyilo Mobility Program that aims to support local development and commercialization of electric mobility technologies. Special emphasis is placed on the development of scarce skills and diversification of product offerings by enterprises that will contribute toward the creation of new jobs. The focus of the TIA program is on electric motors, lightweight materials, information communication, and charging infrastructure. On energy storage, we have the objective of developing energy storage technologies that meet the requirements of ESCOM for on-grid storage, renewable energy integration, and electric vehicle applications. Since 2011, we've been supporting the lithium-ion battery key program aimed at local production of the batteries at highly competitive costs based on South African raw materials and South Africa-developed intellectual property. We're busy finalizing the broader energy storage roadmap, which is going to be a very important program, particularly given the intention to build coal-based power stations. We're busy working very hard to ensure that we develop both on and off-grid applications and other battery technologies that use South African raw materials. One of the things we always talk about is we have to move away from this position of South Africa being a consistent net exporter of its natural resources and do much more value addition and beneficiation in South Africa. Because if we value add in our country, we then can sell our products globally. If we consistently mine and export, we lose the opportunity to develop products locally that we can then compete on with the rest of the world. We are really fortunate, I think, as South Africa to be well endowed with world-class solar and wind resources, combined with recent strong cost decreases for both solar and wind technologies. These make renewable power generation a cost-competitive new build option in the country. And we will be one building block in South Africa's move toward a more diverse energy mix. Last week, the publication of a new CSIR study revealed that new power from solar, photovoltaic, as well as wind is at least 40% cheaper than that from new baseload coal today. The implication is that the bulk of our future energy requirements can, in fact, the CSIR research says, be met from wind and solar. However, for the successful deployment of renewable and clean energy technologies on a large scale, significant research is still required on technology level as well as from an energy system integration perspective. New cross-cutting technologies such as energy storage, demand-side management, and grid-related information technologies to manage bidirectional power flows are required to enable the stable operations of an energy system with a large share of renewables. So alongside developing the instruments and the equipment, we need to look at these other support areas that still require research and innovation. I'm very pleased that the CSIR has started to streamline its energy research offerings around these very deep research questions and is currently establishing an integrated energy research center. The center's research will be demonstrated at the CSIR's campuses across the country. which shall stand as a real-world research platform for designing and operating a primarily renewables-based energy system, combined with electricity, heat, and hydrogen storage. We've decided to use our own institutions as the sites of experiment. So we will be integrating electronic vehicles on these sites. We will be focusing on demand-side management and energy efficiency measures at the lowest possible cost in rand per kilowatt. So I believe South Africa has the capacity to do great things. Never mind all our problems. Every country must have problems. Remember in Europe, they had the 100-Year War before they became civilized. We haven't even had that yet. So despite all our problems, we have amazing capabilities. And what we have to learn to do is to believe in ourselves. What we have to learn to do is believe that we can do it. And I think this clean tech program helps us to showcase an innovative nation. Innovation adds momentum to the structural economic change that is needed for economic growth. So I'm really pleased when I hear some of the presenters saying invest in us so we can establish a plant in South Africa. Because when we establish plants, we manufacture, we're not relying only on commodities, we're changing the structure of our economy, we're providing for real growth in our country. So, let's go on and innovate. And from our side, let us look at how we support you to make sure that that innovation leads to sustainable business creation and increased growth for our country. Thank you for all the wonderful work that you do, and we will try to ensure we provide you with the level of support that you require. And we'll squeeze the private sector to ensure they provide you with that support. Thank you very much, and good luck to all the nominees.